Namaskar. Hello and welcome to 𝗣𝗽𝗀𝘁 channel. I'm your host, Sree Iyer. Joining me today is a new guest, Dr. Kuldeep Solanki. He is from Chhattisgarh, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what has been happening in Chhattisgarh, its mineral resources, its natural reserves, also what he saw from the last 6 months to a year, the underlying uh, playing out of what happened in Chhattisgarh. Why did it choose to change its chief minister? And he is the convener of Chhattisgarh Civil Society. Dr. Kuldeep Solanki is also a surgeon. He's a university topper. I can go on. The most important thing is he's a great friend of 𝗤𝗍𝐶 Sriram, and that's how we got about saying that yes, we need to talk to somebody in Chhattisgarh to understand the ground situation. So let's welcome Sri Dr. Kuldeep Solanki ji. Dr. Kuldeep Solanki, namaskar and welcome to 𝗣𝗽𝗀𝘁 channel.
Namaste, sir. Jai Johar. We do Jai Johar in Chhattisgarh. Whenever
Jai
we
Johar.
do
Yes.
Jai Johar, that's our way of telling Namaste, sir. So it's a
Namaskar.
pleasure. It's a
Please go ahead,
pleasure
sir.
being with you and honor too.
Pleasure is all ours. There are so many people who are doing tireless work in so many parts of India as well as in the world. And 𝗣𝗽𝗀𝘁 has been trying to, unearth all these gems to showcase their work, what they are doing, what they have done, and what they have accomplished. And Dr. Kuldeep, I think I don't have to tell more about you. I would like you, as the convener of Chhattisgarh Civil Society, what this society stands for, what are the things you have done first, and then we will talk about Chhattisgarh as a state, and then somewhere in this we will mix what happened to the politics, because now Chhattisgarh has a new tribal chief minister, 𝗤𝗍𝙗𝘍. I think I'm forgetting his 𝗤𝚗𝙗𝘍 𝗤𝗍𝙗𝘍 as a new
Fine.
chief minister, and we can also talk a little bit about him. So over to you. I think you have a slide deck to share with our viewers. Go ahead, sir.
So first of all, I represent Chhattisgarh Civil Society, which is a group of professionals. We have 1,500, around 1,500 professionals from various fields of life. We have doctors, we have actors, we have film producers, we have journalists, we have engineers, so on and so forth. And we have been in field trying to do and contribute something for the betterment of the state and the country. We work as a think tank, and normally this is a novel concept of think tank. Not many think tanks are registered in India, but as you know it well, around 1,700 or 800 think tanks are there in US, practicing in US. Uh, if I have to point out one single achievement, can we have the slides, please?
Yeah.
One single achievement in last 3 years, which we have achieved as Chhattisgarh Civil Society. Our research team was quite intrigued by, next please. Sachinji, can you put on the next slide?
Yeah.
This is our biggest achievement. The term Veer Bal Diwas was coined by us in this very place, and we researched about the date on which two of the uh, younger Sahibjadas, Joravar Singh and Fateh Singh, were put into the wall. जिंदा चुनवा दिया था उनको वजीर खान ने way back in 1705. So that was the supreme sacrifice, and we thought that we must try to bring bring the honor to these deserving candidates, and we put this on social media as well as on various petitions to our honorable home minister, prime minister, and within a span of 1 year, next please, this was published in the Gazette of Government of India on 9th of January 2022. So that is one of the biggest achievements which we have achieved in last 3 years, and we had given a SOP how to celebrate this, and quite a significant proportion has been accepted by Government of India. A few things we did last year at Raj Bhavan. We selected 4 children who have shown exemplary bravery, and we honored them in the name of Sahibjada Ajit Singh, Sahibjada 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝙪 𝗢𝙠𝙤𝙀𝘁. Next, please. This was conducted at Raj Bhavan, and the governor madam presided over, and a cash prize of 50,000 each was given to the candidates. The next slide will show you the candidates were chosen, and they were honored on 26th of December. And the cycle will continue even this year and henceforth.
Wonderful. That's wonderful to know. Maybe you can touch upon what acts of bravery these children did, just briefly, two lines maybe.
Yeah. The youngest one, the girl in the green
Yes.
skirt, was the funniest of the four, and she saved her 2-year-old younger sister. She had slipped into a pond, so with one hand she catched up the local weeds, and with the other hand she catched up the younger child for almost half an hour till rescue came in, and then the child was revived, and the younger sister was also present during the honoring ceremony on 26th.
Wonderful. That's great that children are being enthused to come up with acts of bravery, and we are recognizing that. So amazing stuff, Dr. Kuldeep. We don't get to see anything beyond like the big cities, and sometimes Chennaites and Kolkatans will complain that hum to rehte hi nahi aapke samne. We don't even show up on your radar. So at least P Gurus in its own small way is trying to shine the spotlight on places where the sun doesn't, the spotlight doesn't go much, and this is our endeavor. So let's continue with the presentation. First off, how did you know 𝗤𝙗𝙗 𝗍𝗏𝗏? Just a couple of lines, and then we can continue with your slide deck.
Civil society is organization not only in Chhattisgarh, but we have some patrons throughout the country and even abroad. Mr. Dr. Ratan Chhada is one of them, who is based in Mumbai. He is a staunch nationalist, and we interact frequently on various issues of national interest. 𝗍𝗏𝗏 𝗢𝙗𝙗 got my number through him, and then it was just like old friends who have not met for years together lost in the Kumbh ka Mela, and then we caught on.
Wonderful. Dr. Ratan Chhada has been a guest on our channel also. So please continue with your slide deck, sir.
Yeah. Before going to how we predicted almost near to normal, near to what BJP achieved, which no other channel or psychologist could do it, I wish to talk few things about Chhattisgarh. That Chhattisgarh has been a victim of various narratives. Like everything is, people around the country and abroad feel that Chhattisgarh is a poor state with poor people, which is not a fact. And Chhattisgarh is all about paddy. The total politics and life of Chhattisgarh people revolves around paddy. So as a task, our members from civil society joined hands to know the various facts and figures which make Chhattisgarh a very prosperous, which shows that Chhattisgarh is a very prosperous state. It is a rich state with poor people, and people here are less educated, but they are quite intelligent. They have high IQ and emotional quotient. They usually don't fight around. They have engrossed the various principles of Sanatan to the deepest core, and they are just loving, caring people. So next slide, please. When our team went into the various aspects that so much is talked about in various political discussions, that everything, if you give MSP of paddy, increase it to 3,200 or 3,100, then it is the easiest way to win the elections. But actual fact is, Chhattisgarh is 6th or 7th in list. Here we are comparing the latest data from Chhattisgarh, that is of 2022 and 23 versus data from 2020 and 21. As you can see here, Chhattisgarh is even behind Punjab when total gross production of paddy is concerned, that is rice. In contrast to this, Chhattisgarh is a very rich state because it is the topmost producer of coal. Next slide, please. As you can see here, this is 2021 data. It is the highest producer of coal, and 23-24 projections are in the next slide, please. It comes to around, in April 2023, the production was 730 lakh tons, and it was so much that transportation became a challenge. And in total, it is expected that it would be more than 8,760 lakh tons. And this does not include the unspecified transport and transactions. This is all government figures. In addition, apart from coal, next please, Chhattisgarh is the leader in production of thermal power. It
Next
is
slide,
number
please.
one.
Yeah.
It is the number one. Here you can see it is in third place, but when you consider only thermal power, it is much higher than Maharashtra and Gujarat. Sachinji, you can just browse through the presentation. I'll finish it fast. It is the second highest producer in iron ore. Iron ore is, and the sale, the Bhilai steel plant, it is the highest producer of steel in India. Surprisingly, this is a figure which even we did not know. There are three major producers of diamond in the country. First, of course, is Madhya Pradesh, second is Andhra Pradesh, and third is Chhattisgarh. Very few of us know about it. Next, please. Aluminium is, the raw material for aluminium is bauxite. Behind Odisha, very close fourth is Chhattisgarh. And it is the fifth major producer of cement, which in 2023, it was 380 million tons. Next, please. As you can see here, the contribution to GDP of almost 3 trillion, 59 billion may look minuscule, but with a population of 2.86 crores, this is one of the highest per capita contribution, just behind Maharashtra and Gujarat. This is even higher than UP and Telangana. And last, this is a wonderful data that state-wise bank deposits. Our state stands almost at equal footing to Maharashtra, Karnataka, Gujarat, and Tamil Nadu. Per capita, it may be even higher. So Chhattisgarh is basically a very rich state. Unfortunately, it has not gotten the attention which it deserves. And this has not translated into the standard of living of the general people. People still are poor, and they have not got the benefit of the resources which Chhattisgarh is producing. Sree sir.
Yeah. So now we come to the interesting part, in the sense that we're going to talk about the election itself, and there are various constituencies. How much of this 𝗤𝗣𝗍 app scam actually permeated to the corners of the state? I understand that maybe urban areas, they may have had some impact. So talk us through how you saw the political map change over the last 12 months, Dr. Kuldeep.
So before going to that, I will just share a very interesting story which prompted us to do this analysis and give an opinion poll. One of our senior journalists, who happens also to be my patient, had came to me about 6-8 months back, and he had complaints of this GRD reflux and all that. I'd asked him to slow down a bit and rest a bit, and he was furious, like, it is very tough doing the analysis. Aapko karna padta to pata chalta. And then that just stuck to me. We thought that let's take a chance, because we were sure that we can do analysis or not, that is, but he definitely cannot do a practice of medicine. So that is how it started. And initially there was a lot of undercurrent about 7-8 months. The beautiful thing about people of Chhattisgarh is they don't express themselves. You have to feel their feelings. And we have a large network of professional friends who really were after getting the inputs of how the mood of the state is. There are people from North Chhattisgarh, there are people from South Chhattisgarh, and in the plain lands, that is the middle Chhattisgarh. And 𝗤𝗡𝗍 app, obviously everyone knew that some big spam is there, but how much it contributed to the tilt, probably I would say that it came too late to be effective. The mood had already changed about 3 months back.
And what was the reason for the change in the mood?
So there are various reasons, but important among them is, if we divide Chhattisgarh into 3 parts, North Chhattisgarh, South Chhattisgarh, then obviously here the official figure says that there are 96% Hindus and 2% Christians and 2% Muslims. But in North and South Chhattisgarh, if you can show the slides, please.
Yeah.
North and South Chhattisgarh, the conversion, the issue of conversion by various missionaries is very, very rampant. And so much so that our superintendent of police from Sukma had to issue a letter in the department. Next, please. Lower down, you'll find that letter, Sachinji.
Yeah.
Even lower down, quite lower down. Yeah, this one. So this was way back in 2021, where he has forecasted that probably this conversion issue will be so big that it might lead to law and order issues, which was obviously ignored by the government. Secondly, in the plains, there was small issue. Next, please. There was small issue in a place called 𝗣𝗚𝘅. Next, please. Where old flag, a saffron flag, was changed, and the local Muslim community objected to it. The government was into appeasement, and they did lathi charge. They arrested few people, and as a result, there was the first curfew in the history of Chhattisgarh in 𝗣𝗚𝘅. Even 3 months down the line, there was a brutal murder in a place called Birhampur, nearby 𝗣𝗚𝘅, where a young guy, Bhuneshwar Sahu, was murdered in broad daylight. In fact, he was lynched. Mob lynching was done. So people felt that they are being pushed to the wall. In addition, the major issue with the youths also was that, if we can go back, 2 important things have happened in last 5 years that government has generated. One slide back, one more. Yeah, if you can see here, per capita consumption of alcohol is the highest in Chhattisgarh across the country. Government has been into selling, procuring, and distributing alcohol. That probably is not done anywhere in the country. And they have generated a revenue of around 7,000 crores. In addition, the problem of drug addiction, especially ganja addiction, Chhattisgarh has, in last few years, have become an epicenter of ganja trafficking. And that amounts to almost 10,000 crore rupees. This all led to serious law and order issues. And even if I can quote, I asked my maid, my domestic health, after voting, whom did she vote? And she said, she is an illiterate girl. She said that लॉ एंड ऑर्डर का प्रॉब्लम बहुत हो गया रायपुर में, मैं तो फूल को वोट देके आई हूँ. So even the person standing last in the line had the feeling that law and order issue is very significant. Unfortunately, the youth was also quite dissatisfied. There were various scams in the name of appointments. The 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝗍𝗆 𝗍𝙠 is well known to everybody around the uh, country, where the 𝗣𝗚𝘂 officials, relatives got entry into top 10, top 20, and there was no transparency in any of the vacancies which were filled up. So this led to a lot of frustration. There are almost 20 lakh youths, and out of this, almost 15 to 16 lakhs were first-time voters. So they had a strong inclination, undercurrent, that probably they were not happy with the working of the Congress government.
I think I can look at many other states in the south and draw parallels. See, a couple of things stand out, Dr. Kuldeep. One is that government is taking over the sales and distribution of alcohol, and this is also very prevalent in Tamil Nadu, and a lot of scams there. They have, they price it very high, first of all. Then they have an untold, unaccounted tax. Every bottle, you have to pay an extra 10 rupees that does not get billed. Yani, when the counter, this is all government run, the government, he gives you 100 milliliters, for example. So chota peg, I think, I don't know. When he gives that, ml, you pay for the liquor, and then an extra 10 rupees that is grabbed from the guy before he's given this. And that 10 rupees has its own network of going all the way up to the chief minister. See, what I see again and again, the same pattern of in Congress as well as regional parties. I'm just giving a little bit of observation from looking at the states. What they do is they need the minority vote bank, otherwise they cannot come to power. So they give them all kinds of promises that you'll be given a free hand, you can do whatever you want, you just vote for us. So that happens, that leads to illegal conversions. It also leads to a sense of entitlement among some in the society, which is incorrect. We are all the same, or we are all special. There is no in between that some are special and some are not. So this kind of thing is what Congress does. And in order for them to come to power, they bribe people with unheard of kind of money. For example, in Karnataka, Dr. Kuldeep, what they did was in many constituencies, they gave a debit card. See, there people are more used to banking. So they gave them a debit card and said, this is preloaded with 5,000 rupees. Now you can go and encash this debit card, but it is timed. It is only timed after you vote for us, and then you go to the mall, then you can encash it. Poor people, everybody believed them. And nobody tried encashing before the elections, because if they had tried encashing before elections, they would have known there is zero money in that. It was an elaborate hoax where, the card has the picture of the local Congress candidate also. ताकि आप भूल न जाएं.
Next level.
Next level deceit. This is what happened in Karnataka. In Telangana, how did the Congress come to power? They have promised 10,000 rupees a month for all those families that are being headed by a woman. Now, Dr. Kuldeep, you tell me, how can one determine that this family is headed by a man and this family is headed by a woman? Total subjectivity. What about the daughter? Does daughter also qualify as a head of the household? All they need to do is another house and then say, okay, now this is mine. So this is impossible to satisfy, impossible to even check. But bol diya or jeet gaye. The problem is now they don't know what to do. They have failed in Himachal Pradesh, they have failed in Karnataka, and now they're going to fail in Telangana also. So the bigger problem is every time a scoundrel comes to power in some of these places, they are actually tearing the fabric of the country. They are making it even worse every time something like this happens. And I'm not even talking about Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy, who quietly is converting many people in Andhra Pradesh. This is being going very, very subtle way he is doing it, and that will come to a head soon too. But the point, I think, is it is time for India to drop all these regional parties. These are the reasons. But you and I can easily pick up this thing, Dr. Kuldeep. Since you are the convener of Chhattisgarh Civil Society, I request you to tell whoever outreach, you tell them that the same template, the same playbook is being used Same toolkit is being used in state after state after state, and everywhere they are plundering the resources, and it is just going to be vinash after this. That's how I see it. Sir, back to you. It's your show, really, but I just wanted to it looks stunning to me when you said that Chhattisgarh also has the highest per capita consumption of alcohol. This is not going to be good. Please go ahead, sir.
So initially, when our school days, we used to read that three primary duties of the state are education, health, and law and order.
Yes.
Unfortunately, education and health have been handed over to private sector. The health sector looked after by government institutions in Chhattisgarh is the participation is less than 15%, which is way below the national average. Education is no more responsibility, and law and order is fading away in Chhattisgarh too. Unfortunately, they are into business, and that too of liquor business, which are their liquor and substance abuse business, which they are supposed to uh, prevent from flourishing, and they themselves are selling. So I think more inputs and more efforts from people like you, society, and the educated class is required, so that and in fact judiciary, if possible, is required for putting the state responsible to do its duties and not to do business.
Yes, indeed. I agree with you. And I must commend the government for not only shutting down the opium production, poppy production in India, they also coaxed Afghanistan to do it. Afghanistan also shut it down because you can't allow this to flourish anymore. And this kind of a decisive step is, of course, going to attract the wrath of the people who have been in the business. That's what you see in the form of riots in Manipur. Now, Myanmar is in trouble, complete turmoil. There are areas where the army doesn't even dare go, especially in the Shan state, which is where most of the poppy production is happening in Myanmar. So this is becoming, becoming a big deal, and India will be buffeted by more challenges. But I'm glad the first few steps have been decisive. India has taken the right steps, in my opinion, and you will feel a little bit of heat because this has been around for a long time. This is not something that can be done just in a few years. But I completely agree with you, sir. This is something that we have to educate our youth, make sure that they don't fall into this habit. Back to you, sir. I keep running into my own narratives.
Very important thing I wish to share, Srisat, that while we were collecting data and interpreting it, our team was divided in three parts. One was into collection, second was into interpretation, and third was cross-checking whether the data from that particular area is coming correct or not. What we felt is, no doubt cash was distributed in various parts of the constituencies, in almost all the constituencies, but people here were smart enough. In fact, on direct confrontation, few people even express that I can earn 10 to 12,000 per month if even I am doing an unskilled labor job. So why will I give a vote for near 1,000, 2,000 rupees? So in this analysis, we could see that probably that throwing away of votes at a cheap price of 1,000, 2,000 was no more that frequent as was in previous elections. So I feel that people of Chhattisgarh have evolved, or their thinking has evolved, and then they feel that it is more of a responsibility rather than a business to accept some cash for vote. That is one of the observations, sir.
Yes, thank you so much. Are we done with your slide deck presentation, or do we have more slides to present?
I think we are done, sir.
Okay,
One more point I wish to add is
yes.
that around, as per Niti Aayog data, there are around 37 lakh farmers and around 2 crore voters. So rest are people which are laborers, who are unskilled laborers, skilled laborers, people in business, people in industries, people, youth, unemployed and overtly employed. So coming government should concentrate and focus on all aspects and not one single part of the society that only farmers should be made happy and rest will come by default. That is what we wish to convey through
Yes,
your
very
channel.
true, very true. This is inclusivity is the primary function of the government, which is what the thing that the regional party based governments don't do. Samajwadi Party got booted out because they were favoring their own Yadav community and the Muslim community, and they are giving them a free ride. People told me, Dr. Kuldeep, during the Akhilesh Yadav reign, 2012 to 2017, women, especially unmarried women, couldn't dare step out of their houses after 5 p.m., 6 p.m. when night fell. It was that bad. Very blatant things. That is why it's taking so many years to undo all that stuff. And now
The
UP is on the
same
path of progress. Go ahead, sir.
same is on in Bihar, sir, till date.
Yes, yes.
So
And I don't know when Amit Shah ji is going to turn his attention towards Bihar, because that also requires serious re-engineering. And I mean, we have so many things that we tend to not look at some of the bigger problems. In fact, I think Bihar also needs to have the same kind of a success story as Uttar Pradesh, and we'll see. This is going to happen. Kamal Khilega, and that will lead to all the other things. So, Dr. Kuldeep, if you want to conclude in a few things that you would like to add, so that people understand that Chhattisgarh is a thriving state. Like you said, we didn't know that you have so many resources, and so you are such a high producer of so many things. So thank you for sharing us all that knowledge. But maybe you can take a couple of minutes to conclude, and then we have a few questions from our viewers.
as I've said, sir, we on 3rd of December we had a general body meeting of our society, and we have taken a task that 10 years down the line, I'm happy to share that by 2023, we wish to give guidelines and put Chhattisgarh on the international map. International map as a very, very progressive state with a huge contribution to GDP and huge manpower, education, lot of workforce for skilled laborers, and we are already on that. If you allow me, we wish to share few things that
Sure,
Chhattisgarh,
sure.
since
Yeah.
Chhattisgarh, since it is located centrally, there are no natural calamities of significance for last 70 years. It is such a beautiful place, and here, since it is well connected both by air and by road, we have suggested to the previous government also, and now very soon to the new CM will try to put across the table that few industries, this is a fertile ground for few industries. One of them is pharma industry, because pharma industry wants new space to relocate and increase their production. Himachal, because of various natural calamities, and Sikkim is almost out of tech soaps. So Chhattisgarh is one of the options where pharma industry has can come up with a big
In a
investment
big way.
and big way. And fortunately, we have big land banks in Chhattisgarh. We have it's a very big state. We have big land banks, well connected. Infrastructure is very good. Law and order till date is very good. So pharma industry we are putting across. Second is we have an international airport where international operations are yet to start. But by requesting the Central Aviation Ministry, we wish to get it done in next 6 to 8 months. And then we have a new area known as New Raipur or Atal Nagar, where thousands of acres of land are available. And our team is in contact with big names of software industry to put up few of its branches in Chhattisgarh, and that will do a reverse brain drain. A lot of educated youth goes to Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, Mumbai, and even to your country, your state, that is California.
True. Yes,
California. We want them all back. Probably in your guidance,
Oh,
someday
absolutely,
even.
absolutely. Dr. Kuldeep, when I used to run a company, we started out at Bengaluru, but we found that it was too expensive. Plus, the turnover rate was very high. This is 90s when
Yeah.
Infosys was not even a big name. but the turnover was very high for us. So we moved from our operations from Bengaluru to Coimbatore, 1990s. And then Coimbatore, what was happening was the talent there was there, but by that time, all the big companies like Larsen and Toubro or Wipro and Infosys, they were all coming and picking up all the students. So we weren't finding the right fit. Then we moved to Chennai, and Chennai is where for a long time we have lived. But that company I exited after it was bought and so on and so forth. But I know exactly what you mean, because in the 90s, there was no power guarantee. There was no internet guarantee. There was a lot of challenges when we were working in, a semi-rural city like Coimbatore, even though it's a very industrious city, but Coimbatore was a textile city. And it was transitioning out of textile, which was its forte. They weren't very good at IT. They didn't know what IT was. I'm talking about 90s, 30 years ago. So I've seen through some of these things. Yes, I'll be very happy to help in whatever little way I can. Although these days I'm more in media and more in, big picture scenarios rather than...
You are a big think tank, sir, and country is benefiting by your contribution. Last but not the least, I wish to mention that our team has worked a lot whether for the feasibility of semiconductor industry in Chhattisgarh, and I'm pleased to share that in our initial assessment, we found that it is one of the best places to put on semiconductor industry, not only in the country but on the across the globe. The reason being that almost there are 88 major raw materials required, 88, and silicon wafers, diamond, zinc oxide, aluminum hydroxide, so on and so forth. The major 12 out of the major 12, 8 are easily available in India, in Chhattisgarh. And if somebody puts a thought to it, we can have a big setup for semiconductor industry in Chhattisgarh, especially for solar chips. It can be put up in next 2 years on a mammoth scale.
Yeah, Dr. Kuldeep, actually, you mentioned something that's very near and dear to my heart. I have used solar. In fact, I have solar installation on my house, my roof. Part of my electricity bill is being paid for the electricity generated by me. So I'm myself a producer and I'm also a consumer. And the thing that I have noticed is the efficiency of a solar cell. It is still only 15%, 15. When 100 watts of sunlight falls on it, you only get 15 watts of electrical power. And the sad part is about 25% of the sunlight falling on the solar cell immediately gets reflected back, because you have to have a polished surface. So it's like a mirror. So you are losing 25% right from the get-go. So the way to fix this thing, and this is research going on in many universities, including Stanford, Caltech, and so on in US, is to have multiple layers, which are like, if you remember how we used to have this before Ray-Ban glasses came along, there used to be a thing called polarized glasses. Polaroid is the name of the brand. What they used to do is they'll filter by having two 90-degree orientations in terms of light filtering. And that's how you got the coolness effect. So a lot of research is being done on solar cell technology to bring it from 15 to like 35% efficiency. At 35% efficiency, you are really, really viable, because either by the time you burn coal, generate electricity, and then you have to clean up the coal. That coal, the gas that comes out, all the effluents that come out, that is a major cleanup effort. That's why the carbon footprint is going up. Instead, in solar, it's all free. Sun is free. Surya Bhagwan is not asking us to pay him any money. So this is a huge plus. I agree with you. And let's explore this further. And please continue, sir. We'll wrap up now.
So we see in the new Chief Minister a bright future for the state, sir. Now that Sree 𝗤𝘅 has taken up as the Chief Minister, which was announced a few hours back, I think now is our time to grow and come up on the national and international map. That is what, from civil society, we dearly feel from the core of our heart.
Wonderful. By that, wonderful. I wish you all the best. I have no doubt in my mind, with motivated, organizations convened by you, it's going to really, really grow in a big way. Thank you so much. And you also, somebody is mentioning that is there scope for bio and cultural tourism? Thank you, Vignesh.
Yeah, definitely. Lot of customs of Chhattisgarh and places of Chhattisgarh are still unexplored. To name a few, there is one stalactite cave, natural cave, by the name of Kutumsar. It is near Jagdalpur, that's south of Chhattisgarh, and I have personally visited it. It is a thing which can be put on international map if few infrastructure remodeling is done. Then we have various festivals which are very peculiar to Chhattisgarh. We can run cultural weeks as is practiced in Rajasthan and Gujarat, dedicated to North Chhattisgarh, dedicated to South Chhattisgarh. This is definitely a issue which can be handled by, but first we need to improve our infrastructure, basic infrastructure in terms of roads, in terms of stay, in terms of rooms available.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. So let's take a few questions. We have a few questions from our viewers. Mangat Rangaji wants to know, was it really a change of fortunes for BJP, or was it a red herring created by BJP to mislead opposition?
So I'm not able to make it what actually is
I think what he is saying is that is this a anti-incumbency vote, or is it a pro-BJP vote? That's an easier way to look at it.
I would say that is this is basically people who have voted against the existing government. Obviously, they were attracted by the manifesto of BJP, but a lot of work was done by the people themselves. That is predominantly an anti-incumbency vote because of various issues we have discussed already. Important being law and order, lot of substance abuse, lot of unemployment, and feeling of disgust and unrest among the youth.
See, this is the thing. The BJP going into the elections without announcing their chief ministerial candidate, there is a reward carried with it. There is a risk carried with it. The reward is that people will think, okay, fine, there is a new person that might come. The risk is that, oh, there is no known face. So even if we put the vote, who is going to be the chief minister? That question may be there in the back of the mind. So balancing these two, I think BJP has done a great job, because all three states have won. And now we are seeing one state has chosen, and it has been our prediction that we are going to have three new faces in these three states. We still stand by it. We have been proven right 1/3 now. So just wait for the other two names, and those will also be a surprise. This is P Guru's that is saying that. I've been saying this for 5-6 days now, ever since the results came out on 3rd of December. So we'll wait and see how that plays out. So let's go to the next question. Yeah, go ahead, sir. Please add.
One important thing is the Modi magic, Modi ka guarantee. That was a very important factor in changing the fortunes of BJP in elections.
Thank you, sir. Next question, please. Jatayu View says, Chhattisgarh rice is very good. Need to brand it at the national level.
Thank you very much to the viewer. This brings me to the very important aspect why Chhattisgarh rice is very good. This is our team's research, which has analyzed the organic content of the soil, to differentiate between soil and rate, is that less than 2% of organic content, it is rate, otherwise it is mud. So in Chhattisgarh, the organic content is to the tune of 12 to 14%, which is highest in the country. Average across the country is around 8 to 10%. In US, it is said that it is 5 to 6% average organic content. And this organic content is predominantly contributed by the leaf foliage, the excreta of animals, the bones, the insects, the animals which are decomposing. But more important is there are nitrogen fixing bacteria which fix the nitrogen from the atmosphere. We know that 79% is nitrogen in the atmosphere.
Yes.
So the soil is so virgin, and the content of soil has predominant nitrogen fixing bacteria by default. That's why you get the flavor, the aroma of rice and other vegetables. So that is the USP. We hardly use, probably the lowest use of insecticides and fertilizers will be in the Chhattisgarh state.
That's wonderful to know. I will discuss offline with you a few things. We'll take this thing forward. By the way,
Yes.
viewers, yesterday I was at a superstore, and India's rice is back. Sona Masuri is available in US stores now. There was a panic 6 months ago that India had stopped rice exports to US and except basmati, and people are trying to stock up. It's all gone now. You can get Sona Masuri now in stores in America. You would be amazed, Dr. Kuldeep, the amount of rice now is available, especially in California, is just incredible. 5 different varieties of Sona Masuri and all these other things that you can think of. So I will look out for Made in Chhattisgarh brand next time I get rice. Thank you so much for this. I did not know.
Dubraj,
Yeah.
Dubraj chawal, Dubraj rice from Chhattisgarh, Nagri Dubraj is the most famous brand. We'll
Okay.
see that it reaches you
Yes.
throughout the
Yes.
states.
Thank
Sure.
you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I think, are we done with the questions, or are there more questions? I think we are done with the questions. Just give me 1 second. Let me go through the thing. Yeah, I think we are done.
Yeah.
So, what a
Uh,
wonderful session we had today, viewers. I hope you send in your comments on knowing more about Chhattisgarh. I myself, having lived in India for many decades, I have not known so many things about Chhattisgarh. It used to be part of Madhya Pradesh, and well, by the time it became two, I had already come to the US. But still, I am very, very amazed to know so many things about Chhattisgarh. Thanks for opening our eyes, and as always, a pleasure having you on our platform, and we'll be hoping to hear from you again very soon. Thank you once again. Namaskar, Dr. Kuldeep.
Namaskar, Jai Johar, and it was a pleasure and honor to be with you, sir.
Jai
Thank you very much.
Jawahar. Jai
Jai
Jawahar.
Johar.
Namaskar.